Hello everybody and welcome back to Agent Wash Gaming, your source for inconsistent upload schedules. I'm Wash and today I'm going to be giving you my opinion on the Star Wars Battlefront 2 multiplayer beta. Now, as you guys can clearly see, my character's invisible in the gameplay right now. And my friend and I were playing Starfighter Assault. We had finished a match and were getting thrown into another one. He noticed that he could only pick ground troops for some reason, and it turns out that the game changed the playlist we were in for some reason. We got thrown into a match of Galactic Assault, and when we spawned in, we couldn't see anyone's bodies. All we could see were floating guns, on our team and the enemy team. And the only characters who happened to have a head were the clone trooper heavies, because technically their head is a texture hidden underneath the helmet. Now, obviously, Activision, fix your game. I shouldn't be getting swapped from my playlist, and I shouldn't play a whole match without seeing people's bodies. It makes it a whole lot harder to play. Now, moving on from that, I have to say this game plays a whole lot better than their first attempt at a Battlefront reboot. The gameplay is seamless, going from first person to third person or third person back. I love the fact that you can swap your shoulders when in cover so that you can shoot from either angle. Each weapon and class fills its own role, which a lot of the times in EA DICE's Battlefield can feel very muddled, especially when carbines, shotguns, and DMRs are something that any class can use. So you might have a recon playing more of the assaults class, well, gameplay style. So it's nice that this game, you can't muddle that. At least it was like that for Battlefield 4. I don't have Battlefield 1, so I can't really say much on that. But anyways, I do have a few gripes about this game. For one, in Starfighter Assault. In Galactic Assault, I think that it takes too long for the ion disruptor to lock onto the MTT, and its effects last or go away way too quickly. Now, in order for you to lock onto the MTT with the ion disruptor, you have to be scoped in, which means you lose your peripheral vision. Meaning, even if you find really good cover, an enemy could walk up behind you and just blast you in the back a few times before you can turn around and switch to your weapon. It also means that, the MTT itself could just find you and blast you if you're standing right in the middle of the shit. Its effects for me, I noticed that they only lasted like 3 or 4 seconds, and I know that's enough time to put quite a ton of damage into it, but if your team isn't coordinated enough to notice when it's getting hit and fire right then and there, your team is just wasting an ion disruptor and not doing anything to the MTT. And I think that the effects should last maybe 10 seconds. Buff it just a little bit to give the defending team some time to actually take it out, because playing defense, I only took it out once with my team. Another gripe I have is third person for allies, and this is for rocket troopies, the Wookiees, super battle droids, rocket droids, the rocket troopy for the First Order, and the flame troopy. Now, I have an issue with this forced third person because it makes it a lot harder for me to stay on target as a rocket trooper when I'm flying. It's a lot harder for me to track them down in third person than it would be for me to track them down in first person. Now this might just be because I've played enough first person games to be able to do this in first person and not third, but it just feels like aiming while flying in third person is a lot harder. Now, I really don't like the fact that third person is forced on the allies. I can understand why it's forced on heroes. Heroes are a powerhouse, and as such, they need to come with a downside. They need to come with some way to balance them out, because honestly, they hit so hard. Darth Maul and Rey can knock out any player in a single swipe. And that's my next biggest gripe, is the heroes seem like they have almost too much health. Like, I can sit there and an unsuspecting Darth Maul will walk right into a detonite charge that I've placed as my heavy, and I can lay into them with my sentry gun, and it won't do much to them. It'll hurt them, but they're just going to kill me and move on and regain all of their health. And it feels almost too hard to kill them. It feels like you need a room full of people camping in order to trap one of them and get them. My next gripe is battle point distribution. Now, I like the fact that battle points reward players for playing well, but I feel like it needs to buff the distribution for players that play the objective. Playing, putting rounds into the MTT or carrying the package in Strike or taking out objectives in Starfighter Assault feels like it doesn't give you enough battle points to make it worthwhile, where you could be going out killing 10, 15 players and getting the same amount for taking out one objective. And I get it. It should be a lot harder to take out an objective than kill a player, but it should be more rewarding to actively, aggressively play an objective than it should be to take out players. Now, I will say a lot of this comes from playing with teams that don't play the objective at all. They're more worried about kill count and leveling up their class than they are, defending the throne room, trying to take out the MTT, trying to carry the package, or trying to kill or trying to take out objectives. And it makes it difficult for someone who's oriented towards taking out an objective. But that's really the only few gripes I have with it. Otherwise, it's a great game. It plays well. Aside from the bug that I had where it threw me and my friend out of our playlist and into a whole different one, the game plays and functions great. One other issue I had with it was sometimes, it seems to think that you've crashed into something when you didn't if you're playing a starship. I don't know if this is just a hitbox thing or whatever, but sometimes it can be a little concerning when I fly over top of a building and somehow hit the back of it that I passed a few seconds ago. I don't know if that's a lag thing or a hitbox thing or whatever, but it feels kinda janky sometimes. Anyways, that's all I really have to say on Star Wars Battlefront 2's multiplayer beta. It feels a whole lot better than the first reboot. It feels more complete, balanced. There are a few balancing issues that need to be fixed, but aside from that, it feels like a great game. Alright, so I'm going to call it there. Have a good one, everybody, and I will see you on the next video. Peace out.
Two in a row. 3 in a row.